What is going on, guys? It is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween to you too, Mr. Danny. It is Thursday. As you know, it's Halloween, and welcome to a very spooky edition of my podcast, the Yari Show. I am your host, Mr. Yari, or David S. Pumpkins, if you whatever the fuck you want to call me. Been a pretty chill Halloween. It's been an odd day on my part, as is. So here's what happened. So I got paid today for my job. It was actually my second paycheck of the new job I've been working at. So I get paid on Halloween, which is pretty awesome. So I dropped my girlfriend off at work because she had to go in early. Like, she had to go in when the store actually opened. She works at a grocery store, and the store she works at, it opens at 7 every day. So I dropped her off, I came home, and then I got dressed, and I had to go to the Advanced Auto Parts to get some rear brakes for my car, because my rear brakes are a little shoddy. I've been noticing that I do need them, because I've noticed when I press on the brake, I hear this loud sound of metal rubbing together. And it's just a really ugly sound. So I go to Advanced Auto Parts to get the brakes, and I already have an account there and everything. I actually have I think they're called speed points or something. They're points. You can use them as money. You can use them towards any purchase or whatever. They're $5 each. So make sure we're live. Okay, we're good. So I end up getting my brakes, or so I think. The guy suggests getting these brakes are $33, and he suggested, well, these are actually going to be a lot better for you. They'll last a little bit longer. So I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. So I was able to use my points to buy said brakes, and then I asked the guy at Advanced Auto Parts, is there anyone around here that can possibly put them on for me, because I know nothing about cars or how to put equipment on. I did it once, but I wasn't, that information doesn't stick, if that makes, I'll just put it that way. So he suggested a place that was right around the corner from the Chevron. So I go there, and I talked to the guy. I said, hey, I was kind of suggested to come here because I just bought these new brakes. I was wondering if you guys can put them on. I was saying, oh, no problem, $35 just to put them on. And then $75 to, I guess, clean I forgot how he said it, to clean the wiring or whatever. I was like, just do $35. So I go in the waiting area and wait, and then the mechanic comes back in and says, you got the wrong ones. I was like, what are you talking about? Apparently, they're the wrong ones. They were either too small or too big. Oh no, they just didn't fit. So I'm just like, yeah. All right, well, I guess I got to go back and return these. And he suggested going to this auto store, or I think it was called Napa Auto Parts. That was right next to the mechanic shop. And I just said, nah, I'm good. I'm kind of on a tight schedule, which I was. So I just kind of want to get everything done. I don't feel like driving around more and spending more money. So he just ends up putting everything back on. So then the manager that I was talking to earlier, who told me about the pricing, had said, we still got to charge you. I'm like, for what? He goes, well, we still had to do work. We still had to do labor. And then, this is the part that pissed me off the most. He starts doing the shame. He starts trying to shame me. The motherfucker tries to shame me. He says, and I quote, he's like, well, you decided to put them back on and you didn't want to put the brakes on. I was like, because they don't and I didn't swear at him, but I should have. I just said, because they don't fit. They're the wrong ones. So why would I put them on if they're wrong? He's like, well, he did suggest that you go to the auto store next door. I'm like, because I've never been there. I don't know anything about the store. Why am I going to go to a store I never heard of and try to buy something that might not even work? Or might even be, even more expensive? And then I said that, and he goes, okay, fine. And then he gives me back my keys. I'm like, this dumb motherfucker. That motherfucker seriously tried to railroad me. He seriously wanted to charge me for not doing anything at all. I was willing to pay him for putting on the brakes, but the brakes were wrong. Either he didn't have all the information, or he seriously was trying to shame me. Or it was both. It's like, fuck you, dude. Seriously, just seriously fuck yourself. So I end up going back to Advanced Auto Parts to return the brakes. I don't get mad at the guy over there. I just let him know the situation. Like, apparently these were the wrong ones, they didn't fit. So he ends up, looking at my information again, make sure he has the right info. And he had I remember he mentioned this before, but I didn't really think much of it because I didn't know. I didn't know how to find out about it. The car that you have, is it made from Mexico or is it made from here? I was like, I honestly don't know. So we went to my car to go check. Once you open the door, like there's a little thing on the side that lets you know of information, like the VIN number and like where it's made. It was made here. So the one that I actually did need was about $6 more. And I let him know, I'm just going to need my money back for this. I'm not even going to buy it here. Sorry. I'm just going to go to the dealership to see what they can do. Even if I do have to pay a lot, it is what it is. So that was the start of my day. And then afterwards, I just get in my car and go to our local grocery store, which is H-E-B here in Texas. And I just buy a dick ton of candy. Like a dick ton of candy. I just bought anything I could find that was on sale that looked good. We haven't really been able to celebrate Halloween all that much lately here. Mainly because we're always broke. We always do want to just really celebrate and put up some fun decorations and just buy a shit ton of candy to hand out. Because it's kind of, I guess it's kind of a shallow way of thinking. Like, we want to have that reputation of, hey, you ever been to the house? The house gives out king-size Snickers. They give out glow sticks. They're pretty cool. So, this year with this new job, now that I got a little extra money in my pocket, I can afford to buy a dick ton of candy, which I did. And I think I may have overdone it. Because I bring home the candy and my sister-in-law just sees everything. She's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did you do? Like, you really overdid it. Like, this is why we can't send you anywhere, because you overdo it. I'm like, like, they'll buy it. The point is, we need to get rid of all this candy. And if no one else wants to buy it, on the bright side, we have candy. We have a lot of candy left, so there's that. So afterwards, I come home, I chill for a bit, I watch NXT, which I'll talk about in a bit. And then after I'm finished with NXT, while that's happening, I DVR, because I didn't watch it when it was live last night. I didn't watch AEW either, so I'll watch that later. Same thing with the NWA. I've been really busy. On my days off, I've been trying to keep busy. Yesterday I was on another podcast, the Robert Christopher Show. Look for that to drop. Shout out to Robert Christopher. And then today it's been very busy, very, very busy. So I haven't really had a chance to watch any of the wrestling. So I end up doing the Halloween decorations outside. I go to pick my girl up. Right as I'm picking my girl up, there's a stop that's right in front of this bowling alley. It's by her job. And the light literally is about to turn green. All of a sudden, my car just stops. The radio's still playing, but my car stops. I look down and I see the symbol for the battery and the engine. And it just stops. So what I did is I pulled up the brake, put it in park, and turned off the car and turned it back on, and it worked. I literally have no idea what the fuck happened, because there's a wrench symbol on, and I know that has something to do with my oil change. Usually, the wrench light will come on if I need to get an oil change, and that was just odd. Like, because I literally just bought a new fucking battery last month. Like, my car just literally died on me, and just said, "Oh, well, you need a new battery. If you want me to take you places, you're gonna need a new battery, bitch." So I'm just like, so I don't know what the hell's wrong with my car. My car is just, I was telling my friend earlier, my car is a needy bitch. It's forcing me to continuously spend money on things that I don't need, but I need it for that car for the sole purpose of getting around town. But yeah, NXT. Let's talk about NXT for a bit. Really good show, actually. Probably the best show I've seen lately. The show opens with Poppy singing her new song, which I honestly don't know her songs. I know, Mish. Shout out to Mish. He adores Poppy. He loves her. So I mean, and she's not bad. I mean, I've never really listened to her. I'll give her credit. She's very good. I like her style. And then she ends up singing Io Shirai to the ring, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the show opens with Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. Who the fuck won? I'm trying to remember who won. And I literally just watched it today. Okay, let me pull up the results. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Io Shirai versus Candice. Alright, Shirai wins by pinfall. There's a steel chair point in the match where Shirai wants to bring the steel chair in. The referee pulls it out and ends up dropping it on the floor. Candice LeRae she falls on the chair while coming off the top rope, and Shirai pins her. 1, 2, 3. There's the match. Pretty good matchup. Not as good as their match at TakeOver, not too long ago, but very good match. These two seem to have pretty good chemistry in the ring. One thing, Io Shirai, one of the top 5 women in the company. Candice LeRae, I'm kind of so. I mean, she's not bad. I mean, she's better than Dr. Britt Baker. But I'm not here to shit on anybody. I'm sorry, but I like Britt Baker. But yeah, I mean, Candice LeRae is good, but she's not one of my favorites. I'll just put it to you that way. What happened afterwards? Finn Balor comes out and gives his heel promo why he did what he did. There's a nice little vignette where Sports Illustrated, I guess, talked about Finn Balor going heel, CBS Sports. I didn't know TMZ actually recorded him. I think he said something like, it's a new era. You gotta shake the tree shake the tree and see what comes out, or something like that. He did it for The Rock. He did pins. So he comes out, and John Draper, shout out to John. He made an interesting point about Finn, which is, do you guys notice now that Finn's a heel, his Irish brogue sounds a lot more prominent? And that makes sense, because I think Finn Balor is just naturally better as a heel. Because him being a face, I mean, he's still over as a face, but this just seems like something that is natural for him. I mean, not to say he's a dick in real life, because, for what I hear, he's a nice dude in real life. But the perception on, people from Europe, people overseas, is that, and no offense to you, Pints, I'm just saying the perception, I'm not saying this is what I think, is that Irish guys are, arrogant, and they think that they're better than Americans, and they think they're better than everyone else. British wrestlers do the same thing. William Regal's whole thing was he was classy. So, same thing with Finn Balor. It works. And I liked his promo, because in his promo he says, it seems like there's a lot more fans in the locker room than there are in the audience. And it's funny he says that. I'm Scottish, we are the scum of the earth. Don't say that about yourself, Pines. Come on. That's just mean. And And it's funny that Finn says that because on, Sunday Shitbox, they left a question for Joey, John, and Mish, which was, do you think there are more marks in the ring than there are in the audience? Without hesitation, Joey answers yes. And, I mean, regardless of what you think of Joey, I mean, I don't exactly agree with everything that he says, but there's never a part of me that goes, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Because Joey is literally ingrained in the business. He's been part of the business since he was 16. Sorry about that, that's my phone. So, I can trust Joey at his word when he says something like that. And it's kind of true. Because, going back to Robert Christopher, I was on his podcast yesterday and I brought that up. And Robert's another guy who's in the business. I'm not really going to say what he does, but he's been a part of the business for a while. It seems that, and I don't mean to turn this into a big debate. I'm gonna try and keep this episode short, maybe under an hour, because we got some Halloween stuff to get to. Yeah, he knows his stuff. It seems like there are a lot of marks in the business, now than there ever was before. And my cat is now just coming, and my cat will now be making her debut on the podcast. Because you see a lot of guys on social media who it seems like even when they're heels, they still want to be liked. You got a guy like Adam Cole who is known as like a sweetheart outside of the business. You see him doing his Adam Cole Bebe pose with kids outside of Madison Square Garden. And he's in the ring, being a cocky, arrogant prick and, shit-talking Johnny Gargano's parents. And, he's on social media like, thanks everybody, I appreciate you for coming to the show. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but, the point I'm making is that, same thing with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins doing that interview saying, he feels like he doesn't get appreciated enough, he busts his ass in the ring and blah, blah, blah. And to a lesser extent, I think Jericho kind of fits into that category. As much as I like Jericho's always kind of made it very clear how much he thinks of himself, and he should, but it comes off as markish sometimes. You know what I mean? So, and I mean that's really all I'm going to say about that. But I just thought that was funny that Finn said that. And, of course, people are just cheering the shit out of Finn Balor. Do you listen to the Greatest Podcast? I didn't. Most people said. I haven't yet. I probably will soon, but I'm not really in a hurry to listen to it. There's like 20,000 other podcasts that I have on queue that I need to listen to. I'm behind on a lot of podcasts. So, but yeah, Finn. Yeah, Seth is just... It seems like nothing he says or does is ever going to help him, help people like him more or like him the way they did when he was in the Shield. So, I personally think Seth needs to go away for a while. Not get fired, but he needs to go away. The guy is burnt the fuck out. I can just imagine he's just burnt out. Becky to someone of an extent. But going back to Finn, I like the promo. I really did like the promo. He seems like he's naturally born to be a heel. He's a very good face. He's a very good baby face. But as a heel, it just feels like it works. I mean, because correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know this because I didn't watch his stuff as a Prince Devitt. I only really saw the cosplay stuff he did, when he wore the Marvel DC stuff to the ring. Pines, did you ever see him as Prince Devitt, and was he ever a heel? I'm currently waiting for Pines' answer. That's why I'm being very quiet. Yeah, yes, Prince was a heel in NJPW. Okay, yeah. That makes sense because he created the Bullet Club, so, go figure. So yeah, again, he's naturally better off as a heel. He's born to be a heel because you look at him, he's a good-looking guy. I mean, I'm not even trying to like be gay saying that. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but like I'm not even trying to come off like that. He's a good-looking guy, and wasn't he like a Versace or Abercrombie? Not Abercrombie, but he was like a underwear model. Like he's a good-looking guy. Like as us, regular, Joe Schmoes, we see a guy like Finn and go, fuck that guy. And not because we don't like him, not because he's not a good dude, more just like, he thinks he's better than me with his, with his $1 million smile and his chiseled abs. As guys like us, we're not supposed to like Finn Balor. We like him for his in-ring work, but we see a guy like that and go, fuck that guy. That's a guy that if, we can be like at a bar or a restaurant with our girl, and our girl will be checking out Finn, and Finn will be checking out our girl in front of us. You know what I mean? So, and that probably would happen. So, but this works, him as a heel, and then you got, a white meat babyface like Johnny Gargano, who I don't know what they're going to do with Finn as far as like, him being the demon. Or are they going to change that too? Because I suggested last week that now that he's a heel, now he's a full-fledged heel, he needs to up the game. He needs to up the ante. Like he needs to show more aggressiveness in the ring, especially when he's the demon. He needs to kind of change up the demon look too. And it was interesting because he did an interview on the Backstage show where he said, in other words, the Prince is back. And that was interesting. And I mean, they haven't officially announced it, but it pretty much looks like it is going to be Gargano and Finn at War Games, and that has the potential to be a Match of the Year candidate, and it might even win Match of the Year. And it's going to be in Chicago too. It's going to be in fucking Chicago. And you know how Chicagoans, I'm probably saying that wrong, or feel about their wrestling. If he brings out Tevitt, he doesn't need to be the demon. Maybe. But WWE, they're going to want to bring back that demon. I mean, now they already have the Fiend, which we'll get to that in a bit. So they're going to want another like a counterpart of that, like a new demon but more darker, a little bit more edgier. And now that he's in NXT, he has the opportunity to take more risks, to be a little bit more edgier. Which, again, I'm sold. Like, take my money. Take my money for that feud. Take my money for that match. That's all I gotta say about that. So, moving on. Shane Thorne versus Bronson Reed. Decent match. Did you watch Crown Jewel? I watched part of it. I didn't get to watch the whole show because, again, I've been busy all day. I did get to watch like the last part of it, preferably the main event, I'll just talk about what I saw because, again, I wasn't gonna go on my way to watch this show. I'm just being honest. So, but I'll get to what I saw so far, what I did see on the show. But yeah, Shane Thorne versus Bronson Reed. Decent match. I was more impressed by Bronson Reed. He had a match with Matt. I almost called him Matt Kimball, Matt Riddle, a couple weeks ago, and he actually showed that he can work. Like he has some, decent talent. And then Shane Thorne, we hadn't seen him since he wrestled Gargano on the premiere show in USA. I seem more interested in Bronson Reed. He wins the match by giving a devastating top rope splash, when I'm reading on the Bleacher Report, to Shane Thorne, and it looked impressive. And I'm thinking to myself, that better be the end of the match. If that big motherfucker lands on top of you, I don't care, like if you do have six-pack abs, you are not kicking out of that. And he didn't. He didn't kick out. Bronson won the match. Bronson seems like someone who's better suited for NXT, but I don't see him in the NXT World Title picture. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? My cat is literally laying on me as I'm recording. She doesn't like the cold. When it gets cold, most of my cats who stay outside throughout the whole summer are going to want to come inside. And when they come inside, they want to go. They make sure they try and stay warm. You know, especially my cat Pepper. She loves staying warm, and she is like pretty much burrowing her face in my stomach. Like she's feeling that cold, and I'm some type of source of warmth. What was it? Next match. This match should have been the main event. Women's tag team match. WWE Women's Tag Team match. Kabuki Warriors versus Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. War match. Don't say that. Kabuki Warriors going over. I like both of these teams. I love that they made Asuka a heel. I love that they made I like not only Asuka, but obviously, you know, Io Shirai. Because, again, there's a lot of people that work better as heels. And the fact that you're having them as, you know, these dirty, you know, filthy heels that, you know, talk shit to you in Japanese and then, you know, spray green mist in your face. That's Kana-chan TV on YouTube. Have you watched that? I have not. I have not. I'll check it out. I like them as heels. The only thing I hate is their entrance music. Like, give them extra entrance music. Like, I'm pretty sure you can, like, give them something that's similar to, what is it, Baby Metal? Like, find some Japanese punk rock band and give them, just find a theme from them. I'm pretty sure you can find somebody off of YouTube or SoundCloud. Like, it's easy. Like, enough with this mashup shit. Other than that, the team is great. I love them. I love them as heels. I love them as workers. And then you got Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, who, again, I like them. I said on Twitter earlier, they seem like a team that could get over. Because they have the appeal of, you know, they come across as really genuine, down-to-earth girls. They seem relatable. And then they also seem like, you know, someone that, you know, the young female audience can look up to. Because, again, they come across as, you know, very genuine women. They seem like good girls. They seem like the type of girls that no one would ever have a bad thing to say about them in the locker room. And they're also good workers, too. But then again, it is WWE. They'll find a way to fuck anything up. They're already fucking up Aleister Black. But the match was great. Really good back and forth. For a second, it looked like Nox and Kai were going to possibly even win. Then it ends with Asuka spitting green mist in Kai's eyes, while the ref's not looking, and pins her. What is it? No, she spits green mist in her face and kicks her in the head. And then Kairi Sane. I said Io Shirai earlier, didn't I? Kairi Sane, not Io Shirai, Kairi Sane. She goes for her flying elbow drop, which, to me, I think she's maybe even got the best, you know, elbow drop in the business. Like, that shit looks insane. It looks crisp and mean. It's a mean-looking elbow drop. You should go. You should go sign up to watch NJPW. You definitely like it. Lots of shows most of the days is really good for live stuff. I don't know how I feel about paying for something else. I already got like 8 million other subscriptions, other things. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I watch it, watch it more, I'll, you know, want to be more invested in signing up. But at the moment, I'll take my time. And then there's Daily Motion. Daily Motion, they have stuff that YouTube doesn't have. But the match was good. Good back and forth. You had a very good babyface tag team, and then you had a very good heel tag team. And the audience was, you know, going apeshit for Asuka. Because Asuka hasn't been in NXT in, 2 years? You know, longest reigning NXT Women's Champion of all time. You know, they can't take that away from her. And she didn't even lose. She just got hurt. Like, how insane is that? And then Io Shirai, and I keep calling her Io Shirai, Kairi Sane. I'm glad they got rid of that dopey pirate gimmick. It was just dumb. It was cute for a second, and then it just got stupid. Now they're making her, the edgy, mean, gothic Asian girl. I fucking love it. It's awesome. Doing the same thing to Asuka, too. I mean, that was her character overseas before she came to NXT. Yeah. Again, some people they're better off as heels. They work better as heels. I mean, they're okay as baby faces, but then that kind of wears thin, and they work better as heels. So, just an opinion. After the match, Shayna Baszler and her crew come out to confront Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox goes after Shayna Baszler. And then after that, Rhea Ripley comes out, and then Io Shirai attacks her from behind. And then Rhea Ripley goes into the ring and fights Baszler. And then that's when you have Candice LeRae join the fight. And then it's curious to break everyone up. And then William Regal comes out to his perch and just says, "I have a simple solution, War Games." So, the first ever women's War Games match. And, what better than to have the women that you already have in the match? So, on one team, you have Rhea Ripley, you have Candice LeRae, and I believe it's Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. So that's 4 people. On the other side, you have Shayna Baszler and her 2 girls. You have Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. So currently it's 5-on-4. So I don't know if they're going to add a 5th person to Rhea Ripley. I mean, they would kind of have to, but who? Like, who would they add? Like, would it be someone from the main roster? Would it be somebody who's making their debut? Or would it be somebody that's returning? Or would it be somebody that's going to return for just one night only? I mean, here's the person that came to mind. Here's the person that kind of came to mind. It probably will never happen. Not Asuka. I mean, if you're going to take Asuka, you're going to take Kairi Sane too. I mean, that'd be interesting, but she's a heel. So she would be on, Shayna's team. They're going to need a face on her team. And my fucking headphone decided to pop out. And here's who I thought of. Here's who I really thought of. AJ Lee. I don't know why I thought of AJ Lee, I just did. Because the way I thought of it was, it's Chicago. And she lives in Chicago with Punk. So what if she, for one night only, came out as a surprise opponent, or as a surprise member of the team? I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see AJ return to the company, because she hasn't been in the company in 4 years, and, she's been kind of hinting that she might come back, and now you got CM Punk apparently making his return to the company. At first he was just going to be like a backstage personality, but now he apparently is going to be he might come back to wrestle, but just for a dick ton of money. Which, fuck, just give Punk his money. If he's willing to come back and wrestle and let bygones be bygones, just give him money. Give him all the money he asked for. So, Liv Morgan. I mean, well, she's on the main roster. She's already been announced as a part of Raw, so I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that I have a feeling that they're not even going to pay attention to it, that they're just going to go, let it be 5-on-4. Instead of, making it a 5-on-5 women's match. So, it is WWE. But, it'd be interesting if they had, a surprise addition to their team. And it ends up being someone like a AJ Lee, or Mickie James, for example, or Trish Stratus. And why has iTunes decided to pop up on my fucking screen? No, go away. I don't want you. Go away. And it's not going away. Okay, it went away. It will be someone nobody has heard of. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, but then again with AJ Lee, the point about this match is you want to put the girls over. So you want to bring in somebody who's not as over. Like somebody who is over and popular, but not somebody who's like gonna take the shine away from the other girls. Because you know if AJ Lee comes back, that place is gonna go nuts. And they're gonna probably forget about everyone else in the room. So you're gonna want to bring in somebody who's popular, but not too popular. Like a Mickie James, for example. Like Caitlyn. I mean, Caitlyn would be an interesting name. Or a new addition, like somebody the company just signed, but you're not or Scarlett Bordeaux. You can bring in Scarlett Bordeaux. She just signed with the company. I mean, she's popular, but not too popular. She's not someone who's going to be, who's going to get that AJ Lee reaction. She's going to get a reaction, but she's not going to get an AJ Lee reaction or a Trish Stratus reaction. She's going to get a good reaction. And I don't know, that would be interesting. That would be interesting if they want to shoehorn, or not shoehorn in, but bring in Scarlett Bordeaux and her debut show in Chicago on NXT TakeOver. Like that would be interesting. Killer Cross. I agree. I agree. Almost called you Cross. I agree, Vince. He really should, be signed with NXT. He obviously wouldn't be able to be Killer Cross. He can still be Cross. I mean, Cross would be a good name. I mean, because they really do love their one-name wrestlers over there. And that's a name that people can get behind. Because you can imagine an arena full of people chanting Cross, 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 Cross. Mild damage Cross. Or like his real name is Kevin. Like, I think Cross is his actual name, Kevin Cross. You can call him that. Or just Cross. Cross is a nice name, Casey. No, Cross sounds better. Again, they like their one-name people. Or Kevin Cross. He should be signed with somebody. How he's not signed with anybody is... Well, I mean, I don't think it's his fault. I don't know the whole thing with him in Impact Wrestling, where they're pretty much sitting out his contract. I don't know the whole details. I know Don Tony and Kevin Castle talked about it. So I think they know more about it, because I know Kevin is pretty tight with him, and I know DT's pretty tight with him. Like, they actually talk on a regular basis, so I can't really talk about something I don't know too much about. So all I know is that Impact is just fucking him over. Like, that's a guy who... I'm not saying he could have been like their Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, no, DT isn't his Kev. Okay, then it's Kev. I knew Kev was. I didn't know if DT was that close to him. But, like, that's a guy who could have been like their top draw. Easily. He has the look. He can work. He can talk. He has the appeal that if you're a booker, you see him and go, the women want to fuck him, and the men want to be him. And he's dating, without a doubt, the most beautiful woman, one of the most beautiful women in the world, Scarlett Bordeaux. And, she's no slouch either. She can work, too. I mean, she's gorgeous as hell, and she can work, and she can talk. He's a good look. I think he's 6'5". He's covered in tats. He's, he's a good promo. He legit looks like somebody that can beat the shit out of you in a fight. Like, if you're in a bar, if there's a bar fight, you want that motherfucker on your side. You don't want to go against him. So, as soon as he's available, WWE needs to sign him. AEW needs to sign him. Somebody needs to sign him. I can imagine Triple H just seeing him and going, I need that guy on my team. I need him in NXT. And I can just imagine Vince going, that's a guy I can turn into a star. like that's a guy. But then again, I thought that was going to be Aleister Black, but they've completely fucked him up. So, yeah, we're still talking about NXT. We're still talking about NXT, and we start talking about Killer Cross. I'm probably going to wrap it up in about 10 minutes. So, yeah, War Games. Next match, Tyler Bate versus Cameron Grimes. I mean, yeah, okay match. I'm not too... What do you think about Brian Cage? I don't have Access TV. Pints. I have YouTube TV, so I'm not able to gain access to Access. And I would like to be able to watch Impact Wrestling on a weekly basis. I was able to watch some highlights of his match with Callahan for the Impact Wrestling title. I like his look, Cage. I like his look. He has a very jacked look, but he's also very agile. He's quick on his feet. He's very athletic. He has a good look to him. That's really all I can say about him. But yeah, again, I would love to have access so I can watch. I can keep track of what's going on in Impact. I'm only able to just see what I see on YouTube. But yeah, Tyler Bate versus Cameron Grimes, okay match. Wasn't particularly fond of it because I'm not really too big a fan of either of them, so we'll just keep it at that. And then the main event, you had the Undisputed Era versus Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. The Undisputed Era beat Riddle and Lee. So what are they doing with Riddle? Like, are they just kind of biding their time before he gets put on the main roster? Because it seems like really the only place to go is the main roster for him. Because he looks like he's too big for NXT. I mean, it'd be interesting if they keep a lot of guys in NXT and don't even put them on the main roster. There is a dog barking outside of my house. Okay, he's across the street. Never mind. But speaking of which, they announced on Crown Jewel that Survivor Series, they're going to include NXT on the show as part of the matches. So we have the possibility of seeing, not just the WWE champion versus the Universal champion, but also the NXT champion. The NXT Tag Champions versus the Raw and SmackDown Champions. The NXT Women's Champion versus the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. The Intercontinental U.S. Champion versus the North American Championship. And then possibly even have them part of other Survivor Series matches. Oh, I'm sorry, Pepper. So it makes for an interesting show. Like, this is the first time I can remember really being invested in watching Survivor Series. Because I've been loving War Games. As far as like the show for Survivor Series, now I'm interested. I mean, granted, they're all going to have to do jobs for the main show, guys. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, do you really think they're going to... do you really think they're going to allow Velveteen Dream to cleanly pin Baron Corbin? No. I mean, do you think they're really going to let Matt Riddle go over clean on Drew McIntyre? No. Because at the end of the day, it's NXT. It's the farm system. But it'll be interesting. I'll save... let's talk about Crown Jewel for a bit. I'll buy the War Games Blu-ray. It's amazing. Well worth buying. Oh yeah, I've been a fan of War Games for a while, dude. Like when I first started watching WCW, I was hooked on it. I'm surprised the main roster hasn't done it, but for obvious reasons, I can understand why. But I'll close the show out by talking about Crown Jewel for a bit of what I saw. So what I did see, Humberto Carrillo, he won the Battle Royal, which I was so sure it was going to be that Mansoor guy, since they want to tell a story of, hey, one of our own won this big match and now they get to fight the champ. I was so sure it was going to be him, because didn't he win last year? Or there was like a local wrestler that won last year. Alberto No Talento. Yeah. I thought he was something for a bit, Pence, and then I just realized he's just another flippy, kicky guy. So him and AJ have a match for the U.S. title. Decent match. AJ goes over. That's pretty much been, Pence's role. Or not not Pence. Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo. That's pretty much been his role. Which is, go out and have matches with guys that are already over, but lose to them. Like, make it look like I'm going to win, but I'm really going to lose. Fuck yeah, I'm in your head, Drew. Yeah, you are. Get on my head, you bastard. There's no reason why Carrillo should have won this match. I mean, the sole purpose was to get him over with the fans and have the fans like him and appreciate him. But, honestly, could you see him really beating AJ Styles? Without there being any fuckery? Could you honestly see him beating Seth Rollins? Or even Ricochet? I mean, at the end of the day, this guy's just another flippy guy. He's basically just everybody else on the card. He's basically just everybody else in AEW or Impact Wrestling or anyone on the indies. There's really nothing special about him, to be honest. He's 205 Live. Yeah, I knew that. But at the end of the day, there's guys under 205 on the main roster. Same thing in AEW. Do I need to say Marco Stunt? So, again, there's really nothing special about this Carrillo guy. He's talented, but there's really nothing about him that sets him apart from everyone else. There's nothing about him that I can go, no, he does this. He can talk, which he can't. He has zero personality. One thing you can't say about AJ Styles is that he has no personality. Before WWE, he was another video game wrestler, and then he realized, okay, I'm nearing 40, and I'm having all these injuries, so I need to take it easy. So he goes to Japan for, I think, a year to kind of hone his craft and, become a different wrestler, and he did. He became a lot better wrestler. That was a long time ago, Vince. I don't know. That is what it is. But, so he comes to WWE, and he's now a guy that can talk, that can cut a decent promo. Before, he wasn't even a good promo. Now, he's a decent promo. He's better in the ring. He's a lot more seasoned and, toned and polished. I don't know. They need to get him away from the the Good Brothers, whatever the fuck you want to call them, Good Burger, who apparently won the best tag team in the world Battle Royal. Over the Viking Raiders, over the actual SmackDown Tag Champions, which I don't think much of them either. I don't think much of the Revival either, but you have them lose in place of the Good Brothers, or even New Day. You had New Day lose to these guys. I guess whatever. So I forgot what the next match was, or whatever match I did see. Yeah, the Team Hogan versus Team Flair match. The crowd seemed like they liked it. I'll put it to you that way, because he needs a solo run. Personally, I wouldn't mind if New Day broke up, especially now that Xavier is out. You have the opportunity to have a better storyline. And I'm kind of again, I'm going to try and end this. I'm going to try and end this at 7 my time. So in about 9 minutes, I'll try and wrap this up. I think Kofi and Big E need to have a stable, with Kofi losing ever since he became champion. They can turn that into a storyline. They can have Kofi, get pissed off and realize, I've been busting my ass. I finally became champion, but at the end of the day, I still had to cater to everybody else. I still had to cater to YouTube bums, and he's talking to New Day. So I'll get more into that next week. But Flair dies all the time, so there's nothing new about that. But yeah, Team Flair versus Team Hogan. The crowd seemed like they really liked that match. I had the volume on mute, but I can just, I don't know, something about it. It wasn't a match of the year. It wasn't a, how do you say it, catchers catch can wrestling match. But it was a fun match. The crowd seemed like they really liked it. Apart from Ricochet's weird, I don't even know what the fuck he was wearing outfit. The crowd seemed like they liked it. It was a fun match. Roman super over with the crowd. Gets the win for Team Hogan by pinning Randy Orton. And I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. Yeah, my mind just went blank. I'm pretty sure it'll come to me later on. But moving on to the main event, which is The Fiend versus Seth Rollins, they decided to make the entire ring red, or the entire vision, or whatever you want to call the match, red. The Fiend wins in a no disqualification match where there must be a winner no matter what happens. And The Fiend wins by doing a mandible claw to Seth outside of the ring onto the concrete, and then his sister Abigail wins. On one end, I'm glad that The Fiend won, because at the moment he's more than likely the most over star in the company. But he should have fucking won at Hell in a Cell. Was that their way of continuing the storyline because they knew they were going to give it to The Fiend? Did they originally even want to give it to The Fiend, and they see clearly how over he is, and they decide to give him the title already? The whole Seth Rollins experiment as being an over babyface or an over star or over anything has been a complete failure. He doesn't have that cool factor at all. There is nothing cool about Seth Rollins. There is everything cool about The Fiend. The Fiend is cool. People actually like The Fiend. Nobody fucking likes Seth Rollins. The guy gets a tepid reaction at best. The whole burn it down thing has just become almost like a parody. It seems like he's just now just begging for the audience to cheer him anytime that happens. And then now you get The Fiend as champion, so what now? Because going back to what I was saying about Survivor Series, now you get to include NXT in the matches, so is it going to be champion versus champion versus champion? Is it going to be The Fiend versus Brock versus Adam Cole? Personally, and this is just my opinion, I have a feeling that they might switch out Adam Cole. They might have Adam Cole lose that title to somebody before the event. Because they've done that the past couple years. Because one year is supposed to be Brock versus Jinder, which nobody wanted to fucking see. Let's just be real. And at the last second, they have AJ beat Jinder for the title, and it being Brock versus AJ. In the year after, it was supposed to be a rematch of Brock and AJ, but then Daniel Bryan ends up beating AJ. It ends up being Daniel Bryan versus Brock, which looked like it might have been Brock's best match. Probably, I think it might have been his best match since him and Kurt at Mania from 2003. That might have been his second best match in his career, in my opinion. So, because again, I like Adam Cole, but he would just look out of place in that match because you have Brock, who's a beast, who's literally a beast. That's not just a clever, nickname. That's literally him. He's a fucking beast. He looks legit. And then you got Bray Wyatt, who's supposed to be this unstoppable, force, this monster, this just evil, entity. And then you got Adam Cole, And, Bray Wyatt's not a small guy, he's a big guy. And then you got Adam Cole. It would just look, it kind of would look silly in some ways. So I'm not saying I'm for sure about this. I just have a feeling that they might end up switching out Adam Cole. They might end up having him drop the title to somebody who's a little bit more bigger, like Matt Riddle, like Velveteen Dream. That'd be interesting to have Velveteen Dream and The Fiend, and Brock Lesnar. That'd be interesting, or even Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's a big dude. Have him in the ring with Brock Lesnar, have him in the ring with The Fiend. That would be pretty fucking interesting. Then you got other matches, like you got the Undisputed Era, defending their tag titles against, possibly the War Raiders, possibly the Revival. Then you got Shayna defending her title. No titles are on the line, so it'll just be a regular, three-way. But you got Shayna as the champion versus Becky and Bayley. Survivor Series, it's looking like it's going to play out as maybe the pay-per-view of the year. Or maybe not pay-per-view of the year, but one of the more entertaining, shows of the year. Now that you got NXT, on the show, it makes it a lot more interesting. You're in for a better show. So, like I said, I'll watch AEW. I missed it this week. Again, been very busy. Same thing NWA. I've been trying to keep up with that. But that's the end of the show. Again, I was trying to make a very short show today. I was trying to keep it under an hour, or at least an hour. But shout out to Wrestling Soup. Shout out to Don Tony, Kevin Castle. Much love to Texas Podcast Massacre. If you're a fan of horror movies, these guys review, old and new. Good and bad. The bad ones are the... Hey, Drew, I know you want to wrap it up, but do we have time for Yari Extra? Ask you, when did you first get into wrestling? Let me finish my shout-outs, and I'll answer that. But, Texas Podcast Massacre, check them out. Check out the Robert Christopher Show. I just did a show last night. He's a good dude. Check out the Architect Podcast with Derek and Irving. Check out my friend Peter's podcast, Peter's Post. Or, not Peter's Post. Peter Position, there you go. Check out the Wrestling Court with Julian and Rob, very good friends of the show. Shout out to Trez. Check her out on Dark Chronicles if you're on DTKC's Patreon for just $5. Same thing. Go to Wrestling Soup's Patreon for just $5. Shout out to John Draper. You can listen if you're on Wrestling Soup's Patreon for just $5. You can listen to his show, Global Balding, as well as Side Salad with him and Mish. Jez is a very good friend of the show. I've been trying to get her back, but she's been very busy with her new job, so I can only hope that she's available one day. But that's all my shout-outs. I'll answer your question, Pins. I'll make it very quick. When did I first get into wrestling? I like to say it was 97. And it wasn't by choice, because I just remember it was like one of those things where I didn't watch wrestling, but all my friends in elementary school did. And I remember watching WCW first. And I remember having a friend over, to stay over at my house, and he brought a lot of wrestling toys. He had a lot of wrestling toys, and I had no clue who these people were. And he kept talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. He would talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin every day at school. So, the first WWF anything I watched was I remember the main event was Stone Cold Steve Austin defending the WWF title against Goldust, which that's pretty old too. And this was in Stone Cold's second title reign, because if you guys remember, after he became WWF champion, he lost it the first time to Kane at King of the Ring, which is the infamous Mick Foley being thrown off the Hell in a Cell thing. But the main event of that show was Kane versus Stone Cold in a first blood steel cage match. And the match ended was Undertaker was going after Kane with a steel chair. Kane ducks, and he ends up hitting Austin in the face with a chair. Austin bleeds. Kane is now the WWE champion. Very next night on Raw, Austin wins it back. So that was the first ever WWF anything I watched, and I never looked back. It just took off from there. And that was, the big storyline between the corporation and Mick Foley and The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was wrestling at its peak. Or not its peak, that was wrestling becoming this big juggernaut. The WWF becoming this big juggernaut. And, the infamous episode of, Nitro when they leaked, Mankind win the WWF title and saying, that'll put asses in seats. Or not asses, but they said that'll put butts in seats. And I think that still is like one of the top 5 highest rated episodes of Monday Night Raw. And that was kind of when that was the beginning of the end for WCW as far as the war went. And they never recovered. But I've been a wrestling fan for 22 years. And I'm still going to be a fan. I mean, you don't just stop liking something because it's not as good as it used to be. I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to support it. Same thing with the WWE. I've always been a WWE fan. I've never jumped off the boat. I mean, sure. Is it anywhere good as it used to be? Is it even anywhere as good as it was, 10, 12 years ago? No. It's not. But we live in very different times. I mean, sometimes I think the way you need to look at it is not everything is for us. Seth Rollins is not over with us, the older crowd. He's more over with the kids. Roman Reigns is more over with the kids. John Cena was more over with the kids. The adults hated him, but the kids loved him. And so that's what WWE is trying to do. They're trying to appeal more to kids. I mean, lately it's been a lot more adult, quote-unquote, and edgy, quote-unquote. I think for the best way for WWE to really succeed is Vince needs to change. I mean, Vince really needs to step down or die. I would hate to wish death on anyone, but I think in order for the company to really flourish, Vince needs to not be in charge. I mean, Triple H seems like the odds-on choice, but he's running NXT. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want him running, 2 companies. You know what I mean? I mean, Shane McMahon would be interesting. Because I had this idea in my head, like, if Triple H runs a company, I think it would be more of a wrestling company again. And I have a feeling he would dial back a lot of shit. Kind of like he's doing with NXT. He would go back to having the shows in smaller arenas and, wasting less money or, using less money, which would be a good thing. Stephanie runs the company. She would try and run it like a TV show, like your dad. Except it would be more lame. If Shane runs the company, I have a feeling he would make it into more of a sports company. I don't know if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing. Like, when I mean sports, I mean like he would run it more like UFC. He would try to make it a little bit more real. Or look real. So I don't know. I mean, Triple H seems like the odds-on choice, what he's doing with NXT. Or what he's been doing with NXT. So I don't know. But, again, Vince, I don't want Vince to die. My whole thing is I think Vince needs to not be in charge. He needs to step down. I mean, and also, I don't know how business works. Especially since WWE is a publicly traded company. But he has, don't they have, a board of directors? Can't they vote him off? Can't they literally take a vote and have Vince, fired from the company? Or do they care more about the fact that they're making money in spite of themselves? Do they not care that house shows are low? They're not making as much money as they used to. They don't care that ratings are low. The only thing that matters is that they're lining up their pockets full of money. But anyways, I'm going to end it with that. Shout out, much love to everybody. Thank you, Pence, for partaking in this Halloween episode with me. Also, another announcement. Shout out to False Count Radio, especially Andrew Carlick. Next Wednesday, Andrew Carlick will be on the show. Next Thursday, Andrew Carlick will be on the show from False Count Radio, so that'll be fun. But anyways, guys, take care. Much love. Have a happy Halloween. Stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, and definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do, and definitely don't do anything I would do. So much love. Take care.